The year is 1850. In the heart of China, a storm is brewing. A rebellion ignites, one so vast and devastating it could have redrawn the map of Asia. This is the story of the Taiping Rebellion, a conflict so immense it claimed the lives of millions, yet remains largely absent from our history books. It is a tale of ambition, faith, and ultimately, crushing defeat. The echoes of this forgotten revolution, however, still resonate, teaching us about the fragility of hope and the enduring power of human ambition. China in the mid-19th century was a land in turmoil. The once mighty Qing Dynasty, rulers since the 17th century, faced growing discontent. Corruption was rife, taxes were high, and natural disasters brought famine and hardship to millions. Into this cauldron of unrest stepped Hong Xiuquan, a man driven by visions and a thirst for change. Hong, a scholar who repeatedly failed the imperial examinations, experienced strange dreams and visions. He believed he was the younger brother of Jesus Christ, chosen by God to establish a new order in China. His message resonated with the downtrodden peasantry, hungry for change and a fairer society. Hong's message spread like wildfire through the poverty-stricken provinces of southern China. His vision of a new era, free from the corruption and oppression of the Qing Dynasty, resonated deeply with the masses. The people, long suffering under heavy taxes, famine, and social injustice, found hope in Hong's promise of a heavenly kingdom of great peace. Millions, inspired by his promise of a heavenly kingdom of great peace, flocked to his banner. They came from all walks of life, farmers, laborers, and even some disillusioned scholars. The movement quickly gained momentum as word of Hong's divine mission spread far and wide. His followers believed they were chosen to bring about a new, just society. They called themselves the God Worshippers and formed the Taiping Heavenly Army, a force driven by religious fervor and a deep-seated anger towards the Qing Dynasty. This army was not just a collection of soldiers, it was a community bound by a shared faith and a common goal. They held religious gatherings where they prayed and sang hymns, strengthening their resolve and unity. What began as a peasant uprising rapidly transformed into a potent military force. The Taiping leaders implemented strict discipline and rigorous training, turning ordinary peasants into formidable warriors. Their camps were well organized, with a clear chain of command and a sense of purpose that was palpable. The Taiping army, disciplined and fanatically loyal, swept across southern China, capturing city after city. Their victories were not just military triumphs, they were seen as divine endorsements of their cause. Each captured city became a symbol of their growing power and the weakening hold of the Qing Dynasty. Their victories sent shockwaves through the ruling elite, who watched in disbelief as their seemingly unshakable grip on power began to crumble. The Qing officials, once confident in their dominance, now faced a formidable challenge. The Taiping Rebellion was not just a military conflict, it was a profound social and political upheaval that threatened to reshape the very fabric of Chinese society. The Taiping Rebellion was more than just a military campaign, it was a social revolution. It began in the mid-19th century, during a time of great turmoil and suffering in China. The Qing Dynasty was struggling to maintain control, and the people were desperate for change. The rebellion was led by Hong Xiuquan, a charismatic leader who claimed to be the younger brother of Jesus Christ. He envisioned a new era for China, one that would be free from the corruption and inequality that plagued the nation. Hong Xiuquan promised a utopian vision of shared wealth, gender equality, and an end to corruption. His ideas were revolutionary and attracted a large following. People from all walks of life, including peasants, laborers, and even some scholars, were drawn to his message. They saw in him a beacon of hope, a chance to build a better future for themselves and their families. The movement quickly gained momentum, spreading across the southern provinces of China. His followers, many of whom were women and peasants, embraced these radical ideas, believing they were on the cusp of creating a new and just society. Women in particular found a new sense of purpose and empowerment within the movement. They were given roles and responsibilities that were previously denied to them in traditional Chinese society. The Taiping Rebellion was not just a fight against the Qing Dynasty. It was a fight for a new social order, one that promised equality and justice for all. The capture of Nanjing in 1853 marked a turning point in the rebellion. This victory was a significant achievement for the Taiping forces, as Nanjing was one of the most important cities in China. The fall of Nanjing sent shockwaves throughout the country, and demonstrated the strength and determination of the Taiping army. It was a moment of triumph that fueled the hopes and dreams of the rebels. This ancient city, strategically located on the Yangtze River, became the capital of the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom. Nanjing's strategic location made it an ideal base for the Taiping forces. From here, they could control the vital waterways and trade routes that were essential for their survival. The city became a symbol of their power and ambition, a testament to their ability to challenge the might of the Qing Dynasty. The rebels abolished traditional Confucian customs, redistributed land, and attempted to establish their own government and social order. They sought to create a society based on their principles of equality and justice. Land was taken from the wealthy and given to the poor, and new laws were enacted to ensure fair treatment for all. The Taiping leaders worked tirelessly to build a new administrative system, one that would reflect their ideals and serve the needs of the people. Their dream of a new China seemed tantalizingly close. The Taiping Rebellion was a bold and ambitious attempt to reshape the nation. It was a movement driven by a vision of a better future, one that inspired countless individuals to join the cause. Despite the challenges and setbacks they faced, the Taiping rebels remained steadfast in their pursuit of a new and just society. Their legacy continues to be remembered as a powerful example of the enduring human spirit and the quest for a better world. However, beneath the surface of the Taiping's early triumphs, cracks were beginning to appear. Hong Xiuquan, increasingly isolated in his luxurious palace in Nanjing, proved to be an ineffective ruler. He retreated into religious fanaticism, issuing bizarre decrees and engaging in internal power struggles. Divisions emerged within the Taiping leadership. Jealousy, paranoia, and power struggles led to purges and executions, weakening the movement from within. The very ideals that had initially bound them together, equality, shared sacrifice, and divine purpose, were slowly eroded by the corrosive effects of power. The Qing Dynasty, initially caught off guard by the ferocity of the Taiping uprising, began to regroup. The Taiping Rebellion, which started in 1850, was one of the deadliest conflicts in history, and it posed a significant threat to the Qing rulers. The rebellion was led by Hong Xiuquan, who claimed to be the younger brother of Jesus Christ, and sought to establish a new kingdom in China. The Qing government, realizing the gravity of the situation, knew that they had to act swiftly and decisively to quell the uprising. Realizing the existential threat posed by the rebellion, they mobilized their forces for a counteroffensive. The Qing court called upon regional leaders and local militias to join the fight against the Taiping forces. This mobilization was not just about gathering troops, it was about uniting the empire against a common enemy. The Qing leadership understood that the rebellion had the potential to dismantle the entire dynasty, if not addressed with full force. Leading the charge was Zheng Guofan, a brilliant military strategist who would come to be known as the architect of the Qing's resurgence. Zheng was a scholar official who had a deep understanding of both Confucian principles and military tactics. His leadership was instrumental in turning the tide against the Taiping forces. Zheng's approach was methodical and disciplined, focusing on rebuilding the morale and effectiveness of the Qing army. Zheng recognized the importance of modernizing the Qing military. He understood that traditional methods of warfare would not suffice against the well-organized and fervent Taiping forces. To this end, he implemented a series of reforms aimed at modernizing the army. These included the adoption of new weaponry, improved training techniques, and the establishment of a more efficient command structure. Zheng's reforms were crucial in enhancing the combat readiness of the Qing forces. He raised new armies, adopted Western military techniques, and forged alliances with powerful Han Chinese generals who had grown disillusioned with the Taiping leadership. These alliances were particularly significant because they brought additional resources and expertise to the Qing cause. The inclusion of Western techniques, such as the use of firearms and artillery, gave the Qing forces a technological edge over the Taiping rebels. Zheng's ability to integrate these diverse elements into a cohesive fighting force was a testament to his strategic acumen. The Qing, once on the verge of collapse, were determined to crush the rebellion and reclaim their lost territory. The battles were fierce and often brutal, but the Qing forces, under the leadership of Zheng Guofan and other capable generals, gradually began to turn the tide. The reclamation of territory was not just a military victory, it was a symbolic restoration of the Qing dynasty's authority and legitimacy. The dragon, once wounded, was now fighting back with renewed vigor and determination, aiming to restore peace and stability to the empire. The tide of the war began to turn. The Taiping Army, plagued by internal divisions and facing increasingly effective Qing forces, suffered a series of defeats. The Qing, aided by foreign powers seeking to protect their trade interests in China, gradually pushed back the rebels, reclaiming lost territory. The Taiping Heavenly Kingdom, once a beacon of hope for millions, descended into chaos and brutality. Famine and disease ravaged the population, and the once disciplined Taiping Army resorted to desperate measures, including forced conscription and looting, to sustain their fight. The dream of a new China was fading fast. The Taiping Rebellion, which had begun with such promise, was now a brutal war of attrition. Millions perished, not only in battle but also from starvation, disease, and the scorched earth policies employed by both sides. The rebellion, once a symbol of hope, had become a humanitarian catastrophe. After more than a decade of fighting, the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom was on the brink of collapse. Nanjing, the rebel capital, fell to the Qing forces in 1864 after a prolonged siege. The city, once a symbol of Taiping power, was left in ruins, a testament to the devastating cost of the rebellion. Hong Xiuquan, the self-proclaimed prophet who had ignited the flames of rebellion, did not live to see the final demise of his heavenly kingdom. He died in 1864, just weeks before the fall of Nanjing, his grand vision for a new China lying in ruins around him. The Taiping Rebellion, one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, finally came to an end. It had lasted for 14 grueling years, claiming the lives of an estimated 20 to 30 million people. The Qing Dynasty, though severely weakened, had survived, but the scars of the rebellion ran deep.